From Rags to Riches. The story of Ryan and Paul. Ryan and Paul were brothers who had nothing but each other. They lived in a tiny, broken house in a poor neighborhood. Their parents had passed away when they were young, leaving them with no money, no food, and no hope. Every night, they slept on an old mattress with empty stomachs, dreaming of a better life. One cold night, Paul, the younger brother, turned to Ryan and whispered, "I am tired of being poor. We must do something." Ryan, the older brother, looked at him and nodded. "Yes, but no one will help us. We have to work for it." The next morning, they decided to act. They had no money, so they went door to door, offering to do small jobs, cleaning yards, carrying groceries, running errands. Some people laughed at them, others slammed doors in their faces. But a kind old woman, Mrs. Jenkins, saw their determination. She gave them a small loan. "Use this wisely," she said. With that money, they bought fresh vegetables and set up a tiny stall on the street. Every morning they shouted, "Fresh vegetables, cheap prices." Some people stopped, some walked away. The first few weeks were tough. Some days they sold nothing. Other days the rain soaked their vegetables and they lost everything. But they never gave up. Paul came up with an idea. "Let's deliver vegetables to people's homes. Some people are too busy to come to the market." Ryan agreed. Every evening they knocked on doors offering home deliveries. Their idea worked. More people started buying from them. They saved every penny they earned. After months of hard work, they rented a small shop. It wasn't fancy, but it was better than the street stall. Ryan handled customers while Paul arranged shelves and kept track of money. They worked day and night, never resting, never stopping. One day, a rich businessman, Mr. Thompson, entered their shop. He was impressed by their dedication. "I like your business. If you ever want to expand, let me know," he said, handing them his card. Ryan and Paul looked at each other. This was their chance. They took a loan from Mr. Thompson and opened a second shop. This time they added more products: rice, flour, canned goods. Their shop became even more popular. They repaid the loan quickly and opened a third shop. Years passed, and their small shops grew into supermarkets. Then more supermarkets. Before they knew it, Ryan and Paul owned the biggest supermarket chain in the country. But they did not forget where they came from. One evening, Paul looked at Ryan and said, "We were once hungry. Many people are still suffering. Let's help them." Ryan smiled. "Yes, we must give back." They started a charity providing free food to the poor. They built schools, hospitals, and shelters. They hired people who were struggling, giving them jobs and hope. One day they visited Mrs. Jenkins, the kind woman who gave them their first loan. She was old and frail now. Paul held her hand and said, "You changed our lives. Now let us take care of you." Mrs. Jenkins smiled with tears in her eyes. Ryan and Paul had gone from two hungry boys with nothing to the most successful and generous men in the country. And they proved one thing: hard work, determination, and kindness can change the world.